When people first step outside the fast fashion bubble and start to think about developing their personal style or just cutting back on their consumption, some of the first advice they hear, majorly thanks to like TikTok, is invest in a capsule wardrobe, or like make sure you have these wardrobe essentials that work with every outfit. And I think that advice is dumb. Not dumb, but like wrong. And let me explain. Before we get into the video, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. If you are new here, my name's Katie. I talk about sustainable fashion, personal style, fashion news, and some other topics. So if that sounds interesting to you, then consider subscribing. And if you enjoy this video, then please give it a like and share it with people you think would also enjoy it. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay, I completely get the idea behind the concept of like having a well-rounded wardrobe where you can pair a lot of stuff together and you can basically not need to buy anything, at least for like the short term when you get reacquainted with your wardrobe, or you're really focusing on thinking about what you want for your personal style, and to do that you need to pair right back to the beginning or whatever. I get the concept of like focusing on quality over quantity and all of that, and I do completely agree with that part. But I have two major concerns with people who push capsule wardrobes full of very specific items, and you know the items, right? It's like an Oxford shirt, blue jeans, tank tops, blah blah blah. My first issue is that I feel like it always tends towards the quiet luxury aesthetic, and that is not everybody's aesthetic. And tying into that issue too is that it doesn't encourage you to find your baseline, to find what works for your personal style and your situation and your job and your location. It kind of just creates this idea that everyone should be fitting into the same box, and you know, there are wardrobe basics out there that are for everyone, and that's just not true. It almost becomes another form of a trend in a way. It's like, well, if you don't have these wardrobe essentials, then you're not gonna be, you know, on your personal style journey because you don't have these 5 tops that go with everything in your wardrobe. So how are you gonna cut back on your spending and whatever? It's this kind of idea of you need to buy this in order to get better at not buying stuff. And I guess what I mean by it not encouraging you to find your baseline is the clothes that feel like must-haves to you, or like the clothes that you would genuinely reach for every day. It's not encouraging you to think about that. It's encouraging you to think about the most basic answers and the most basic items in your wardrobe that universally work for everyone, which just isn't personal style, you know? Like that's literally almost the opposite of personal style. And yeah, I can see how people think that this is a good place to start, right? Okay, I'll start with a capsule wardrobe, I'll get all these basics that work together, and then I can slowly introduce like investment pieces and statement pieces and let my personal style come out that way. And yeah, there's definitely logic in that. A tweet I saw from Lakin the Stylist on Twitter, who I definitely recommend following, kind of summed up the idea of why getting foundational basics in your wardrobe is so important. She said, if you don't have a good foundational wardrobe, you're just going to keep buying stuff you don't need to fill in the gaps and still feel like you have nothing to wear. Completely agree. Completely agree. Like having a good foundational wardrobe is so important if you're trying to develop your personal style, if you're trying to quit your fast fashion addiction. Having staple, iconic, good quality pieces in your wardrobe is a great way to start that. But I think the idea of that foundation is different to everyone. And this is my main gripe with capsule wardrobes being sold to us on TikTok and social media. Like, I don't think a trench coat is an essential for everyone. I don't think it should be marketed as an essential for everyone because it doesn't fit everyone's lifestyle. They might not like the style, but they may be pushed into buying it because they want to cut back on their styling, and they're being told that to do that, a capsule wardrobe is the best first step. So my main idea for this video, after all that ranting, was to look at some TikToks and look at some articles online that are pushing capsule wardrobe ideas and talk about what I don't own. As someone who is not 100% happy with their wardrobe, but it's definitely a lot happier than I was 3 years ago, since I started, really paying attention to what I was wearing and investing in pieces I like. And, taking you guys on that journey with me on my YouTube videos. I was just scrolling the internet earlier, saved a bunch of stuff, so let's go through it together and then we can talk about what I don't have and why.
Welcome to Basics 101. You need a good leather pant.
No, I do not have leather pants in my wardrobe. Number one, because I feel like they get really expensive unless you're going for the really cheap fast fashion options. And number two is that when you do have those fast fashion options, I really hate how they like stretch and look really cheap. And I just don't think they look good, especially on me. I mean, all of these things are going to be, I don't think they look good on me. Obviously, like, no hate to these creators I'm looking at. I'm not saying they don't look good in these basics and they don't work for them, but they don't work for me. And I know that, and I'm analysing why, just to show you guys how you should be analysing why. Let's do a Vogue article next, because, Vogue is seen as the fashion Bible, and I could definitely see how if something was listed here on their essential capsule wardrobe list, then it would definitely influence people to buy it. So let's go through what I don't have. A barn jacket. I don't have a barn jacket. It's cute, but I don't have anywhere to wear this to. Like, I live in the city. So the idea of buying something like this would feel like I was trying to cosplay as a farmer, but in a very like city girl way. It doesn't work for me. Same thing here with a suede jacket. Well, not the same thing, but what I do feel happens quite a lot is these capsule wardrobes are very based around what's trending at the time, and people try to pass them off as like timeless closet essentials, but half of the list is what's trending on TikTok. And like, if you were to buy into it, then in 6 months something else would be trending and that same item wouldn't be on their new updated capsule wardrobe essential list. Like, I do think a lot of the content is kind of like a masked what's trending, here's how to be trendy. A collarless blazer. Collarless blazers are on everyone's, and we mean everyone's, wish list this fall. Don't like it. Do not like it. It is way too work weary for me, given that I work from home and I'm on YouTube like all of my work time. Where am I going to wear a collarless blazer to? Okay, another TikTok.
If I had to rebuild my wardrobe from scratch, here's everything I would buy. It's a gray tracksuit.
I know it's like really popular now, and like Aritzia and other like athleisure brands have popularized the like all grey tracksuit look. That is not for me. That is not a wardrobe essential. I really don't like it. I feel a little judgy with these. I'm not judging. I'm just trying to convey the fact that if you are consuming this kind of content, you need to be so analytical of whether it is actually a essential for you and how it would fit into your wardrobe and how it would fit into your lifestyle.
A trench coat. 12, a black blazer.
I feel like a black blazer is a really common staple in these kind of videos. Again, workwear, quiet luxury it is just a rebrand of those trends, and I know that those trends aren't for me. Listening to this one creator and investing in a black blazer would be the wrong decision for me. And I just saw this. One of the top comments was, I literally have all of these and I still feel like I have nothing to wear. And I feel like that is the biggest problem with these capsule wardrobe videos that tell you that you only need to buy these 20 items and wear them all together and you'll have infinite outfits. It's just not true. Having access to something in your wardrobe does not mean you know how to style it. And having access to all of these really basic items will just result in really basic outfits that don't feel special and don't feel like enough. I mean, obviously it depends on your style. If this is your style, very like basic monochrome staple pieces, then yeah, you'll probably have a lot to wear. If this isn't your style and you're trying to transition from a fast fashion mindset of buying new, interesting, trendy pieces all the time, straight to capsule wardrobe, wearing pretty much the same thing every day in a slightly different way. And I'm just going to say again, I have no real issue with people creating this content in a way of like, oh, this is what I have in my wardrobe, it works for me, these are the basics that I rely on, and this is how I style them together. That's obviously fine. It's when people paint it as absolute wardrobe essentials that you need to have or your wardrobe is lacking. That is when I have like an issue, because it's just not true. There is no such thing as a universal wardrobe essential. But according to Mary Claire, there is. I'm a fashion editor who thinks every woman should own these 14 items. A clean cut t-shirt. Oh, I literally own this t-shirt. This is a really good white t-shirt, to be fair. And yeah, a white t-shirt maybe is the one universal basic item that everyone should own or could own, and it wouldn't be, you know, wrong to call it a staple. The one item. So I'm going to allow them this one. A long line blazer. Wrong. I really dislike when people dress like they're going into the office when they're not, when they're just going to like grab a coffee with friends or go to brunch. And I think that kind of style has crept up so much on social media that people have normalized it now. And I find myself like feeling like I should be dressing like this and feeling like I should be dressing like weirdly formal. 100% if that is your style, then go for it. But to me, it's just not something we should be wearing casually, like a blazer and tailored trousers and a white t-shirt. It's so, I don't want to say it's boring. It's boring to me. A pure cashmere crew neck jumper. No, there are people that cannot handle a pure cashmere jumper. I am one of them. Actually, to be fair, I feel like I probably would handle it quite well now that I had washed other sweaters. But for people who don't want to spend a lot of time washing, don't have a lot of time to like be cleaning their clothes by hand constantly, a cashmere jumper is a waste. Like it will just shrink in the washing machine. Okay, back to another TikTok.
Let's build a fall capsule wardrobe, a pair of solid black cargos that can go with everything.
Black cargos. No, I don't like that look. I think that's like another like really popular like macro trend right now of like streetwear.
A white t-shirt, a black t-shirt, a white long sleeve.
A white long sleeve t-shirt from a fast fashion brand. Is that not going to have pit stains after like the first wear? I would just avoid, like personally avoid.
White button up, either to wear by itself.
White button up, of course. What did I say? Every video, white button up. Why is it always such a weird mix of athleisure and quiet luxury? It feels like two opposing things. Like, are you gonna wear your grey tracksuit with a white button up over it? Like, no. Like, aren't these things all supposed to be able to work together? Are you gonna button up your white shirt and wear it with trackies?
Well, it's a pair of Uggs, 2 or 3.
I don't like Uggs. I promise you I do like things in fashion, but like when it comes to this kind of content, again, it's just like a trend masquerading as an essential. Like Uggs are not an essential. They have just been in on TikTok for years and years and like have been rebranded as a cool girl item and like a basic. I have no use for Uggs in my wardrobe. I do not have any clothes that would go with them. Okay. Next TikTok.
I love a thinner cardigan like this that you can wear a ton of different ways.
Obviously this person's not doing wardrobe essentials. They're saying like, if I had to rebuild my wardrobe, this is what I'd buy. So I respect that completely. That being said, a grey cardigan always crops up in these videos too. And I hate it. Like a thin grey cardigan. And it's very like Matilda Jerf style and people like make it into a essential. I don't like grey. So a thin grey cardigan is like literally the bottom of my list of things I want. The other ones are cute. Let's not lie. The green and the blue are cute colours. But the grey, immediately I'm just like, okay, so you've watched how many TikToks? You've seen Matilda Jerf's videos. That's what you're basing this on. And maybe that's not true. But that is what goes through my head. I'm like, okay, so you're regurgitating TikTok style to me as an essential.
These ones are the Gaspard from Cezanne and they're my favorite.
And obviously, one thing we have not spoken about is how a lot of this content is just branded content masquerading as essentials. Like every single item in this list is going to be linked on there, like to know it, Amazon storefront, or like mention in the video, this is where they're from, I have a discount code. And obviously it makes sense for creators to include stuff that they don't actually think are essentials, but, you know, bulk out these lists if it means people are buying more from their recommendations. They immediately have an ulterior motive to be selling you more than you need or like stuff that you don't need. A comment I just found on this TikTok that sums up an issue really well. Someone said, I always look too formal for some reason. I don't know how to style and layer and still look laid back and casual. And that's because they're recommending stuff that is workwear based. Like cardigans and Oxford shirts and trench coats and blazers are all things you could wear to the office. I don't want to wear that stuff to brunch. How are you supposed to only fill your wardrobe with workwear essentials and then be able to style it in a casual way for going out with friends? You can't. You just end up having a weirdly formal wardrobe that only really works for a couple of different scenarios in a life that has many different scenarios and you need different styles for. You can't base your wardrobe around work. Like, I think that is a massive, massive mistake and something that will lead to very quick dissatisfaction with what you own. To round off this portion of the video, this one tweet: a steamer, lint roller, gel inserts, seamless underwear, shoehorn sewing kit, belt hole press, safety pins, double-sided tape, leather suede shoe protector, and velvet hangers. Wardrobe essentials. I approve this message. Like, having stuff that lengthens and looks after the clothes you own in your wardrobe are the only wardrobe essentials I get behind. Maybe you don't need all of these. Maybe say you don't have a lot of leather or suede shoes, so you don't need the shoe protector. But like, the message behind this of like items that care for what you own is the kind of thing we should be pushing as essentials. I feel like if you followed the advice from those TikToks and articles I've just shown, you'd be dressing like 90% of your TikTok feed. And that kind of saddens me because, like I said at the beginning, wardrobe essentials are often seen as a gateway to personal style or sustainable style. And having people on this pipeline basically associating personal style and sustainable style with boring staples that maybe don't work for their situation and their lifestyle is an issue. Not only is it going to result in everyone dressing the same, but I feel like it will dissuade people from actually shopping sustainably and actually caring about their personal style because they think this is the only route. They think this is the only thing that is open to them, and they'll probably just go back to fast fashion because it's more exciting. Like, this is not the kind of content we need if we want to be pushing sustainable fashion to people. If you've watched this video and you agree and you're in the same situation as a lot of people where you want to be finding wardrobe solutions and, you know, investing in pieces that work together and, you know, are basics and staples for your style, I've done a couple of videos you could watch that give some really good tips, including like some finding your personal style videos, which could be useful. So yeah, I guess just keep this in mind next time you're watching a video and you're being influenced to buy some capsule wardrobe items. Make sure that they're actually essential to you and your lifestyle and your style, because it's very easy to be convinced you need something when you really don't. Anyway, we're going to wrap the video there. Thank you so much for watching. YouTube thinks you're going to like this video on screen now, so consider giving that a watch. And I'll speak to you really soon. Have a lovely day. Bye.